101. Book 101 is about books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She's mindset first and strategy follow. One of her advocacy, no other than Miss Lin Yuan-Su.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daniel. It's my pleasure to be here.
Welcome on Book 101, Miss Lin. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Absolutely, with a pleasure. My name's Lane. I was a registered dietitian, and I was very passionate about nutrition, about food. I love food. I'm a foodie. I worked very hard to become a registered dietitian. When I started working as a registered dietitian, almost immediately I noticed that I didn't want to be a dietitian for the rest of my life. But I had worked so hard to be one of them as a dietitian. It's a very competitive field. And I was successful. Everybody look at me thinking, wow, you are so successful, but inside of me was not fulfilled at all. I felt like I was being thrown into a life where it's really everybody else says it's a good life, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody ever, myself included, ever asked myself, is this something I would love to do? Is this something I want to do for the rest of my life? Fast forward 8 years later, that's the beginning of our story. I ended up crying in my car because I was so miserable in a soul sucking job that was not fit for me anymore. And as many people say, the rest was history. Obviously, I survived that moment. And right now, I do not work as a registered dietitian. I am a mindset trainer and a strategist. And I love my life. And here I am sharing my story. And my intention is to hopefully to your listeners, just one of you getting inspired, getting taking a pause to connect with your own truth and be willing to be very honest and transforming your life to the very best if you're willing to be honest with yourself. So here we go.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Lin.
Thank you.
Thank you for empowering us. So today, let's talk about from crying in your car to life of freedom, the decision that changed everything. Let's start with your well experience. Can you describe what the crying in your car moment felt like? What was the specific culmination of events that led to the rock bottom point?
Yes, as I mentioned, I worked really hard in during university. I have a undergrad degree in nutrition. I also have a master degree in nutrition, all serving the goal I had, the dream I had at the time, which was to become a registered dietitian, to get this title, get this professional designation, because everybody wanted to become a dietitian in my program to study nutrition. And I did. I worked my butt off. It was not easy. Yet when I achieved that, I was like, whoa, look at this. This is awesome. And I found a full-time job right away as a registered dietitian in a healthcare center here in Canada, just as you are. It is I worked for a nonprofit that's funded directly by the government, and was great benefit, great pension, great, pay was great, and everything was great. The work was easy, and it appeared to be that I had it all. Literally within 2 weeks, I haven't got my first paycheck yet. I heard myself questioning if this is something I wanted to do for the rest of my life, because at the time what I noticed was I knew I have something more. Like I wanted to do something more. I wanted to make a bigger impact. I have more potential, but I was not utilizing it in that particular job, on that particular career path. But of course, immediately I told myself, I'm crazy. I cannot think of anything else. I just started this career. I haven't even gotten my first paycheck yet. How dare I thinking about anything else? So stay put, just stay within this box. And I stayed in that box for 8 years. by all means, I thought, okay, maybe I can do something else to make myself feeling more fulfilled. Maybe if I would do more education. I was considering actually either to do a PhD or to go back to medical school. And I told myself, no, I cannot do a PhD because I I had to do research for my master's degree and I didn't like it at all. I was like, I cannot do no more research. Um, but medical school, that is a route that was very sparkly. It was just a lot of my ego just feeling like, I want to go into a room, everybody look up me at me, uh, because I'm a doctor. So I was actually very actively uh, creating a path to apply for medical school. I was getting preparing for medical school, to apply for medical school. And meanwhile, I also apply for management positions, thinking, oh, if I have a fancier title, if I get into management, then I would have more power. Then I can make a bigger impact and be more fulfilled. Um, Truth being told, for me, the pretty much the biggest thing I got out of management was stress. I was very stressed out because I it was just yeah, it was not a fit for me. It was just my ego calling all of those things. It was during those moments where everybody else kept looking at me just like, oh, you're so ambitious, you work so hard, good for you, you're gonna have a great future, look at you go. But inside of me had become more and more hollow. Eventually it became very challenging to go to work because I my soul didn't want to go to work anymore. It was so sucking. That job became so sucking for me. Nothing wrong with the work itself, nothing wrong with the organization. It was very, very much of a misalignment. It's like I'm dating somebody we are just very different people. We're not meant to be together, but somehow we get stuck together. That's the best way I can describe it. Until the day it got to that, it was a beautiful, like a July morning or June, I don't remember, but it was summer. Our Canadian summer is gorgeous. When the sun is out, the sky is so blue. Yet I I left home that morning so early because I felt very obligated as a manager to go to work early, to show up for I don't even know what, but I was the first one there in an empty parking lot, staring at the entrance of my former workplace. I burst into tears because I felt so sad for something I worked so hard for, but it's not serving my heart at all. It was so heavy from my chest, and I did not know where else. Like it almost felt like I didn't even know if I could survive that day if I walk into that building. So I cried in my car in an empty car parking lot. I did not know how long I cried for, but I just thinking, probably worrying other people is going to show up and they're going to wonder what's going on with me. And I had put this mask, you know, everything's great. Everything, I love my job, everything's great. And whereas I was hidden, my truth was hidden from a lot of people, myself included. Until that moment, it was one of the lowest moment of my life. And it's also the moment that allowed me to make a decision because it got so painful. I made a decision of something got to change. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what to change. I didn't have what do I do next? I had none of that. It was very much from almost like my soul was awakened to say something got to change if you want to keep living to that point. So I made a decision. Something got to change. I don't know how, I don't know what. That's okay, but something must change. I cannot live like this anymore. And this is the universe always rush to you when you make an actual decision. You cannot just wishing for something to happen, would like something to happen. Why people toy with all of those things is because it's all in our own thinking, and we don't know what is going on in our own thinking, the part of ourselves that is holding us from achieving more, from having a happier life, more abundant life. That's all between our 2 years. And fast forward, after I made that decision, I started to have different conversations with people, and I discovered life coaching. I discovered this is something I love doing. I have a gift of doing, to help people to identify their mindset blocks for their own success, and supporting them to remove that, and to really see a transformation within other people's lives. After that moment, I think a few months later, I handed in my letter of resignation. I left that professional career, and that was almost 8 years ago. And now I love my life. I get to talk to you
Okay.
on a Saturday because I'm the boss. I say so.
Yes. And
Thank
congratulations,
you.
Miss Lean, on the pivotal decision and the shift. What was the actual decision that changed everything? Was it a single clear choice or a quiet realization that slowly solidified into a commitment?
It was I think it was a combination of both. It was very clearly a one single decision in that moment, when I was just so sad. I made that decision of, I later on, I always say that's a spiritual decision. It's not coming from frustration, even though it was driven by frustration, but it's not coming from frustration. So that is the difference. That is very important. If we unknowingly to make any decision from the energy of frustration, that is only going to lead into more frustration. I think after I cried, I don't even know, 5-10 minutes, I got to the moment of all right, I let all of that out, and now is the moment to make this decision. I got to change. And after that, it was a chain event. And almost like, when you make that decision energetically, the universe brings you forth all of the resources, all of the people. And if you're willing to follow the breadcrumbs, and then you will discover a whole brand new life if you are willing. um, we are given free will with our thinking. Is not guaranteed that when we make a decision, those when those resources show up, we will be able to say yes, because fear very often is the one showing up, and fear was controlling my life for 80 years. That's why I exactly the reason I couldn't leave that career anytime sooner. So, and yeah, it's a progress. But if we're willing to follow our own progress, meaning you follow your own gut, follow your own intuition, read books, and before that moment, full transparency, I've never read any books that are not textbooks. I only read books because I had to, because I'm going to be tested on it, and I wanted to have a decent mark. So, and I've never read any personal development, self-help, like grow yourself, nothing. Until that moment happened, I've read many, 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 not just reading them, but studying a lot of books. So I love you have the concept of use. The books are such a amazing, a great value too, because each book is never uh, too much, money wise, and it's a great way to start anybody's growth and expansion.
Indeed. And Ms. Lin, on the journey, a life of freedom, how do you define life of freedom today? And how is that definition different from what you might have thought it meant before your journey?
Oh, that's a deep question. Yes. All right. Life of freedom today, after studying mindset and supporting, first of all, allowing myself to go through the process and supporting my clients go through the same process, is freedom can only be defined by each individual. My freedom can only be defined by myself. And it's up to me to understand and connect with the feeling of what does a freedom even feel like. And that's going to be very different compared to yours, compared to any of your listeners. So for your listeners, this very moment, if you're like, yeah, I want to be free, then really ask yourself, what does that feel like for yourself from inside of your heart, not here. Because you ask, what is the difference compared to my freedom before it was all here. It's all my ego was running the show. My ego was telling me freedom means you go back to school, study it for the next 10 years, and become an endocrinologist, not just a regular family doctor, endocrinologist, a specialty. And it requires about 10 years to be that. And you're gonna make, multiple six figures a year, and you're gonna work your butt off. You're probably gonna live in the hospital, and who cares about your marriage? If you get divorced. You're gonna find a new person. Like that was my mindset before. It's, that was so ego driven. Um, but I define that as free, as I can do whatever the heck I want. Nothing wrong with that. Yet,
Mhm.
is that coming from my heart? Would I love to get divorced from the love of my life? I'm very fortunate. I married my husband, who is the love of my life, and we already had a child at the time, and that was my mindset, and I thought it was great. So, if you do anything, if you want more freedom, then read books, study yourself, understand what love feels like for you, understand what free, truly from your heart, feels like for you, understand who you are as this. I believe we are all spiritual being, as a human, having a human experience. But what does that mean for you? For each and every one of us, when we are really bring this, I'm not saying ditching your brain, because your brain is brilliant, you need it. And it's to connect your mind with your heart, and with your soul, with your spirit. When you have that connection, nobody can describe it for you. Yes, a coach, somebody, a mindset trainer can help you to achieve that faster, but nobody can tell that, oh, this is what it feels like. uh-uh you, if you know what it feels like, some of your listeners, I bet they're right now, they're like, yes, I do know. And some of them may be like, I don't know what she's talking about. That is okay. If you want to expand, then grow yourself, read books, um, have this mind heart connection. What would love do? Ask yourself, what does love feel like for yourself? What would love do? What would love say? What would you love in life if anything is possible? Because guess what, anything is absolutely possible. A lot, I never thought, today, very divinely, today I got reconnected with one of my professors when I was studying nutrition. And she, when I was in my final year undergrad, she moved from London, Ontario, Western University. Ooh, go Mustang! She moved to San Antonio in Texas, and she got a 10-year position there. She was teaching there ever since. And she reached out to me. She has been following me on my Facebook, and she's like, "You're so inspirational, and what you have to support other people to live their full potential. I would love to learn from you." I was like, holy moly, my professor is asking me to share my expertise. My humanist was like, whoa, this is what? And yet, when we are truly coming from this place of love, is when we are quieting down of our ego. That is when you know what is freedom feels like for you, what love feels like for you. That's when you have this mind and heart connection.
Well, congratulations, Miss Lin. You found oh Eureka for sure. What will be your short-term and long-term goals as a coach?
My short term goal, I would love to continue to serve more and more people. I have just people in whatever way, whether it's through podcast where they hear this episode, they get inspiration, they get more clarity about their life, they pick up one book to read, whatever it is, or to work with me at my highest level of support structure. I love to support others to discover what is their truth. to remove whatever is in their mind that is blocking them from more joy, more freedom in life. We all have direct access to all of that if we are willing to be open and willing to let go of whatever that's in our head that is not serving us anymore. That is my short-term goal. My long-term goal is to, I was born and raised in China, and I came to Canada when I was 20 years old. My mother tongue is actually Mandarin. My long-term goal, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, but it's absolutely a dream, is to take everything I've learned about transformation, about mindset. I would love to take that to China.
Yes, and good luck for your goals, Miss
Thank
Lynn,
you.
and looking forward for more success. And what will
Thank
be
you.
your piece of advice for those people out there who want to have that mindset that you had now?
Is to study. It's to study yourself, study life, um, study transformation, study what life means for you. And that could be different formats. I'm going to circle back to book because that's a theme of our podcast. And whether your book to study is the Bible, study that, or your book is from other wisdoms, other forms of wisdoms, study for yourself and give yourself a vision. Ask yourself, if anything is possible, what is my dream? What does that life look like? Allow yourself to have a lot of specific details in this dream and take it to the next step. Write it down. Write it down just as it is already happening. And if you're willing to do those very simple things and continue to study, read books that's about personal development, then I promise your life is gonna really gonna take off.
And thank you for that advice, Miss Lynn. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Thank you. Before we I schedule this show with you, Daniel, you asked that question. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've read so many books and they're all so incredible. So which one can I say to recommend one book? Like that's like it's like picking my favorite pets or whatever.
Mhm.
Then I thought about it. I made a decision to choose this one. It's called "You Are a Badass." I hope that language is okay here. Is
Yes.
the author is Jen Sincero, and the reason I chose this one is was because this was my very first personal development book. And of course, I bet now if I haven't read it in the recent years, but if I read it again, I would discover so many more gems as I have grown. But then when I read it for the first time, it was funny because I love a sense of humor. I believe our spirit loves to have fun. She's very funny, and she makes it very very straightforward, versus a lot of other books I'm studying, not reading, studying right now. It's a lot of them are written in the early 1900s, so language is very quite different. But hers is straightforward, easy to understand, lots of humor in it. This is a book I highly recommend, especially if you're brand new to personal development.
Miss Lynn, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Abstract poetry in second season. I'm a book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 third season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101, music 101 are fourth season. Science 101, sex 101 in second season, and my baby podcast Law 101, Mental Health 101, and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So,
Yes.
Miss Lean, for those who feel responsible for others, like family, and use that reason to stay stuck, what would you say from your experience?
I'm not saying tomorrow go quit your job. I didn't. Don't do that. And it's really come from this when you are willing to when you leave a very secure job as I did, There is part of uncertainty, especially you're stepping into something that is brand new. So be very strategic about it. Yes, I did leave my work a few months after I made the decisions because I have been building my business on the side for a while during that time, to the point where I have just kind of this confidence that it's going to be all okay. And do that. Or if you have other people, have the support, if your family or your significant others, whatever, and look at your numbers financially. And if you just know your number, it's not, it's not about to make a drastic change. If that does not serve you, do not do that. But you got to start with your mindset first. Hear the truth. If you notice, if you're listening to this episode and you know, I'm talking, you are me a few years back, and you know you got to change your career, but you, because of, you feel like I cannot leave this job, it pays so well, whatever, whatever, just like had all of those thoughts. What's going to happen is your health most likely is going to suffer. Your mental health is going to be impacted. It's not good for you. It's not good for your longevity. Maybe you can go somewhere else, same, same field or whatever, still doing what you do, but a much happier place. It's not about, you got to be honest and transparent with yourself. And from that place, that is when you can implement strategy and make, have a plan, whether that plan is to quit right away or start doing something on the side, eventually leave that food, whatever it is. People feel like if you dream, if you go for your dream, you're being irresponsible. Well, I've made multiple million dollars, not to brag about it or anything. It's just like, it's that's my freedom. I'm making way more money than the most I've ever made. When my second child was born, when she was only 5 months old, that month I made my annual income in 1 month, and I was only working 10 hours a day. So that is possible. I'm not telling you how, but if you're willing to open for the possibility, it's yes. And yes, you're going to have more fun. Life is going to be happier, more joyful, and you're going to be in more abundance, money, time, everything. So you can do more, you can be more.
Yes, you can do more and you will be more. And Miss Lynn, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your projects, or anything you want to promote on Book 101?
Thank you so much. I would, yes, I would love to share with your listeners a free gift, which I will share the link with you.
Yes, thank you so much. So where do people can reach you, Miss Lynn?
You're looking at, I believe they're looking at my website, my phone number. The phone number, you can text me or call me, and my email address is on the right top of the entire website. Feel free to reach out, even if you just want to have a chat. I love to support others to truly live their dream, live their biggest and wildest dream, filled with happiness, joy, and abundance.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Lin Yuan-Su because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering mindset will rise. So, Miss Lin, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you again.
Modicon people, see you soon.